Welcome to another episode of DioTalk. I'm Dio. Next talk. My guest today is a talented artist, and he's Latino too, so it makes it even more special. Ladies and gentlemen, give a welcome to Ray Arcadio. Welcome to the show, bro. How are you doing?
Well, thank you for welcoming me here. I am very excited, and I love the way you pronounce my name off the top. A lot of people always ask me, Arcadio, or like, you said.
That's that Latin flavor. That's that Latin flavor.
Arcadio was it right there. You nailed it in the first shot.
That's that Latin flavor. Usually, white people fuck up our names. My name is Diomar.
Oh my God.
They call me Omar. They call me Jomar. They call me every name in the book but my name.
Fucking colonizers.
Yeah.
Don't let it happen. Fucking Arcadio. Just let
Arcadio.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
You.
Shit, I lost count how many times I had to correct people to say my name right. So I just, when I moved here, they started calling me Dio. So I stuck Dio. I'd rather call it Dio than try to fuck up my name. And, I'm very sensitive when it comes to my name. And that's another fucking story.
Yeah.
So
I stopped being. I couldn't help it anymore. They used to call me all different sorts of names, so I was just like, you know what? It is what it is, and I'm just gonna accept it. But when somebody pronounces it right, I appreciate it.
Likewise, brother. Likewise, the same way. Man, you have some incredible artwork throughout Jersey City. Right. So I want to tell you my story, how I stumbled upon that picture I posted on IG, right?
Okay.
So
that's the one that's at
I think Passaic Ave or Pavonia, something like that. Is in front of this small restaurant called Chubby's.
Is it Chubby's or is it the plant base?
I think it's called.
Is that the green one?
Yes.
I think that's plant-based. The name of the store is plant-based.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they do all vegetarian, vegan options, and that was the whole theme of that little thing that I painted there. It might be Chubby's is near there, but I think it's the name of the restaurant that I painted.
It's like a next to a bodega, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I went there, and this is how I stumbled upon your beautiful art. Is that I met there. We did a drive. We gave food to the homeless on Saturday.
Oh, sweet.
So I we started at 3:00, and I was waiting there in the car with my wife, and I had my son, and we were just waiting there, and I saw this like awesome picture, and it just called my attention. I took a picture, right? But then I saw, usually these some of the arts around Jersey City, they don't have the tag, their name. Or if they have it, they have like a very unique style of writing. Can you really understand it?
Can't read it.
So I took a picture and I tagged you, and then I started looking through your stuff. And like, you have to what called my attention. Like, I'm a big Batman fan. Like I have a tattoo on my ribs.
Oh,
right?
Nice.
And I saw seeing this beautiful artwork, different types, and I just I got mesmerized, and I was like. I asked my wife, so I'm gonna hit him up. I'm gonna hit him up to see who wants to come on the podcast, because usually, I hit up people like 50 people a day. Nobody checks their DM, right? Or ignore them. So I said, fuck, I'm gonna take a chance. And as soon as I send it, you like what I posted, and you responded, and boom, here we are.
Bro, it's funny you say that, because I haven't been active on it for a while. Like, I just posted recently about a week ago, but now I'm going to Miami. This Art Basel in Miami. It's
nice.
Huge event in Miami. And I'm going with a whole bunch of guys from Jersey City. We're calling ourselves the Art Bastards. And
that's what that is. I started looking through your page, and I saw Art Bastard, and I clicked that. It was like one picture, but I was gonna follow. But I thought it was like, maybe this is a scam, because usually there's a lot of IG scams, spam. So I didn't really, go in too much into it. But I'm glad now you're confirming. So I'll just give you a follow.
No. So I'm posting that up now. I'm trying to promote that, because this is huge. Like, a lot of us from Jersey City are going there. We're bringing our pieces down. We're gonna be there for a few days. We're trying to like just rock the place. And then so I'm on it, just posting and looking at messages from these guys because we're trying to prepare. And all of a sudden I see yours come up and I'm thinking, it's like, oh man, who's this now? And I said,
Yeah.
oh, so it just so happened that it lined up, like it just clicked because at the moment you were doing that, I was doing that. And then I saw your post and I said, oh, that's cool. He put that old painting I did up. And so it was kind of just, it meant to happen, I guess. It was totally
Yeah, man. God is good. God is good.
good. It was perfect.
Man,
Yeah, so
yeah.
I appreciate when people, when they tag me on stuff, it's always appreciative that people like my work or at least tag me on it because,
Yeah.
it's what you do it for, you want people to see it and acknowledge it and that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Like I said, it called my attention. So, I did a Hail Mary and gave it a shot and boom, here we are.
Perfect. It
Uh,
worked out.
I wanted to ask, like, how did you start this art? What inspired you? How long you been doing it?
Damn, that you're taking me back, way back. It's funny you say Batman because it all got started when I was like 5 or 6 years old. I had a neighbor of mine, a young guy. I mean, he was older than me. Obviously, he was in his teens, but he was a good artist. And I used to go over to his house like as a kid. We were neighbors, and he was always drawing for kids. And I remember I went over to his house, and he was making drawings, and he had started a drawing up on a piece of white paper. There was nothing on it. And he starts drawing like just this like pointy thing. And then he does a half a circle. And then he does another pointy thing. And I'm like, what the hell is he making? As a 6-year-old, like you're just impressed as hell. Like that out of the white paper, something is emerging. So to me, it was kind of like magic. The fact that this guy was making that. And when he finished, he had just made like the Batman mask with his face and his grin. And that thing just hit me from that age. That's like, it wasn't even the Batman that impressed me. It was the fact that he created out of a pencil. He was able to create this magical thing on a piece of paper. It was so impressive that from that point on, I just wanted to do what he did. And so I started drawing and doing my own little sketch, as best as I could. My mom was also a seamstress in DR, so she would create blankets for people as a job.
Yeah.
So she would, at home she would draw on like blankets, and she'd draw little ducks, and I would just lean over and check to see what she was doing. And now I was already interested because of that guy drawing Batman. I'm looking at my mom making blankets for babies, with ducks on it, and that just even fueled it more. And from then on, it came naturally to me. I just kept doing art on my own. I kept drawing, I kept painting, and through my younger years and then through high school, and it just bloomed from there, man. I've never stopped.
That's awesome.
I mean,
that's awesome.
When you ask about the how it started, how people say, oh, it started in high school. No, for
The
me,
origins.
I remember when that shit hit me and how hard it hit me and how much of an impression it made on me. And it was that one time I saw that guy and my mom doing those things. It was just amazing.
And everything else is history.
Everything else is just, sometimes people says, oh, you were born with a talent, but I can't say that. I think it was, environmental influence that just kind of kickstarted me.
Mm-hmm.
And from then on, I just,
you kept practicing your craft, and it kept evolving.
That's it, and that's all it was.
That's beautiful, man. So I remember when I was a kid, I grew up in a tough household, and like my scapegoat was like to draw, right? Yeah. And I used to love draw, especially like Dragon Ball Z. That was my shit.
Right.
And like I could never, I never could like draw something from scratch. Like everything I did was like mimicking. So like if you had a piece of drawing here, I'll look at it and I'll just mimic exactly how it was. And yeah, as I got older, and I moved to Puerto Rico, it just went away.
Yeah, but that's, first of all, that's how it starts. I mean, I was mimicking too. I think we don't, they say a lot of stuff. Artists, I don't know how original you can really be. You're always copying, and then you always move forward with your own ideas. But same way for me, it's unfortunately that it died for you. I'm not sure how much it died, because I think what you're doing now is some sort of artistic expression. You're
Yeah,
talking and whatever you're doing now, but it's in you. It's just that it's coming out in a different way. That's all.
yeah. It's just, I've been told, right, because I've never like learned about this shit until I moved here, right? I'm an introvert, right? Whatever that fucking means, right? Some fucking weird thing.
Yeah,
Now,
introvert.
yeah,
And here
and
you are
like,
talking.
and I just it's something I've always wanted to do. Then the pandemic hit, and I said, fuck, I'm gonna do this, and I just really wanted to. I remember growing up in Puerto Rico, like I used to sit with people and we used to talk shit all fucking day about anything and everything. And like once I moved here in 2010, like I feel that that's like a lost art, and we communicate through fucking text messages that, you really don't understand what the person's saying or feeling, and everybody speaks like slang. So I wanted to bring that feeling of conversation back.
That's
And,
dope,
and,
man. That's dope.
and hopefully, I first started as like just I wanted to people to come and talk about their business just because with the pandemic,
Right.
it was really difficult. And then it just evolved in something amazing, like some of the best relationship, a friendship, right? I've created through here. So like it should have been a blessing.
Oh man, so and this is fantastic that you're doing this. I mean, I think you're the only guy I know in Hudson County that's doing something like that. There may be others,
Mhm.
but it's the first time I hear about someone doing it in the way you're doing, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'm trying just to go out there, like that's, excuse me, one thing that I told myself, like uh I don't want to worry about the followers or the views. I want to be consistent, you know consistent, and just going out there after people, hey, not being afraid if somebody tells me no, and just
Right.
fucking being in the community and meeting new fucking people, and
That's
having
it.
a good deep conversation about life.
Right. Right. That's perfect. That's fantastic.
And
I
that's
think
it.
you got the main gist of it. I mean, going forward like this, it's fantastic, and you're feeling it too. That's good.
Yeah, it's been an amazing ride so far, and I'm looking forward more and more towards it.
Right. Amazing. Amazing. Love to see that. That's good.
Yeah, man. um what was your first like what was your first piece of art that you drew and made and sold? And did you want to sell it, or like were you astonished that somebody actually wants to buy your beautiful art?
That's a good question, because you know what happens. You create art, and a lot of things that happens to you young. And when I made it, obviously I was in college, and I made it. And at the time, it was the last thing from my mind was to sell anything. I was just making stuff for fun. Literally, I was just thinking that. First of all, when I became an artist, I thought, or before I became an artist, my whole goal was that, to me, artists were like superheroes. Like, to
Mm.
me, and literally, I always thought that an artist was seeing something no one else saw, putting something into the world that opened other people's eyes. Those are all superhero powers. And to me, it was like, damn, I want to get there someday. So to me, it was just working towards becoming that. And I still, in the process of doing that, I don't know if I was reaching it or not. I don't know if I was achieving those goals. I was just saying, man, am I opening eyes? Am I doing things that no one else has done? Like, am I reaching the world, and am I going to change the world? Because that was all that I thought artists did.
Mhm.
From my perspective, to me, was like, again, I come from poor neighborhoods, and I see when these graffiti artists put stuff up, they were either putting up messages or their name, and they were trying to expand out of their neighborhood. So, and then when I saw street artists pop up, it was like deep messages that were going up, and messages of social importance. So to me, I was like, I gotta, this is dope. This is what I want to do. And so when I was in school and I was practicing my art, all I was thinking was just getting better, until in that process, I make something that somebody said, that's amazing. I love that. And they decided to purchase it and take it with them. And I was like a little confused, happy. But since my goal wasn't to like sell and make money, my goal was to like, well, wait, I gotta show this to the world. Why are you taking it from me? You know, I was kind of a little torn. And so I really didn't want to sell it. Not that I didn't want to sell it, but I didn't want to let it go for that reason. I wanted to still live with it and show it to other people. But I had a friend who told me, bro, you gotta make to sell, keep making and make more. Let that one go and make another one. And along the process of being an artist or whatever it is, even when you do something, you're gonna run into people that'll give you a little advice so that you're stuck on something because
Mm-hmm.
that kind of push you beyond the level you're at. And at the time I was at a level where I was making art, not really understanding I guess the bigger picture of how things work. This person said, if you're an artist, you have to keep making, keep driving whatever it is that you want to do. Understand that people may buy it and don't hold on to things. Just let them go and keep making. And that kind of like, that just put me in a different field. And I said, you're right. I gotta keep making art. I gotta get out of this little headspace I'm in about just, making art to save the world. And not get out of it, but don't
Mm-hmm.
stick to it. Know that there could be sales too with this. And you get to that point where that's an art dilemma. You either you think you're selling out or you still sticking to your core values of wanting to do what you want to do as an artist. And that's the field that I think all artists live in. They
Yeah,
live in that.
I get it. I was, it's funny that you mentioned that because like I was watching this interview with damn, I can't remember his name. He's retired, but he was interviewing Dave Chappelle. He has a show on Netflix. And Dave Chappelle was basically explaining everything you're explaining now. And he basically ended like, but I don't want to do it broke.
Right.
Like he's like basically, in a rough shot, I'm probably botching it, but basically saying that there's a lot of people that done what he's done and been broke.
Right.
And their names come up, but it's not drastic, it's not impactful.
Right.
And he's like, that's fine, but I don't want to be broke. And it's like,
like, yeah, do you continue your message
yeah,
and stay hardcore or stay whatever it is that you want to do? Like, at some point I was making political artwork that no one wanted to touch in terms of buying. And
so controversial.
it was very controversial, man. I gotten arrested. There was it was just crazy. And because of that, the artwork was kind of like, well, I don't know if I want to buy that. That's not something that's too harsh for me to put on the wall. I want pretty things. I want things that look more colorful. And I want this, like that's what the things you will get. I mean, it is rare that you have someone that's really controversial where the artwork is really like fucking in your face, that actually sells. It's very rare.
They have to be, they have to be really young. Because one thing I've learned is like somebody that's like, what do you call those? What do you call those people that boycott? Like, fuck,
huh? The ones
like
the what?
Like boycott. What was another word for that?
The protesters.
Protester. Yeah. Somebody that is young and as a protester, and as I gotten older, I realized that's like a young person's game.
Yeah, you know what? I love like to this day I love the protesting. I don't mind. I think deep in my heart I'm still like a little rebellious. I mean, I have a piece called "Fuck Poverty," and there are people who advise me, "Why do you name it Fuck Poverty? Nobody's gonna buy a piece that has the word fuck in it. You got to be careful. You're turning off a lot of people." And to me, it was like, but that hits like if I feel that's fucking Sometimes I say that, like, fuck poverty. I mean, I thank the Lord that I'm not where I was when I was younger. My mom was on welfare. We were collecting coupons. We were like, had the I had to go to the store with the little cards to get my food.
Yeah.
And it sucked. And that feeling of that sentiment of saying fuck poverty, it's strong. I need that. That's what I feel. And that's why I named the piece the way I named it. So deep down, I still do shit like that. And then a lot of people don't, they disagree because it doesn't appeal to certain markets. And I understand that too, because, it's important to sell something and continue what I'm doing, because otherwise, it could die down. It's like,
Yeah.
money's good. It's not bad. Um, but yeah, it's a tough situation. So I don't mind like the whole rebellious protesting thing. Like it's a good thing. That's what fuels a lot of stuff that generates creativity. I think that if the youth doesn't protest, and by the way, speaking of youth, I just feel like I love what happened in the past few years with all the protesting that's been going on, all the young people hitting the streets, for
Yeah.
George Floyd. Bro, that's fucking critical. That's important. And we need, the only thing that I didn't like was that I didn't see as much art in the street, like artists out there also putting their artwork as a means of protest. And I'm talking about, political art and, social conscious work. I saw a few, and most of the stuff that I saw was on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, but in the street, in terms of like, I don't know,
Graffitis
graffiti, and like just
yeah,
with straight
yeah,
up protests,
yeah.
and you're carrying crazy signs that are of paintings or of just images. Images are important, and protests is what fuels that. And but I don't know, the youth of today is it's a little different.
It's different.
They're finding, they're not wrong, they're not bad,
Yeah.
they're just finding their way, and they're figuring out in their way.
They're more vocal, if anything.
Right.
Not more. They're not really more expressing through art and like back in the days, they're more vocal and speaking about their feelings and shit.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Which is not bad,
No, it's the way.
But sometimes you need a little bit more, like you said, an image that's gonna, remind you, or is gonna give you a backflash for the rest of your life. Is gonna remember that moment.
Right, exactly. See, like that George Floyd mural that they put up.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Dude, that was amazing. I mean, it was a simple portrait of him. It was fantastic. Now, and again, going back to the whole protesting thing, I think the protesting is really important. And I just wish that there was more of, a lot of more art backing that up. I mean, that to me would have been killed it. But again, I don't want to tell the youth today what to do. They have to figure it out themselves. And if they don't feel like more art is better for that, if it's just vocal, like you said, that's their way they're gonna go, which is cool too.
Yeah, I mean, whatever works. As years, people evolve. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, do whatever they think that's best. I just like, I don't know. Like I guess I'm a little old school in that sense. I want something. I want an image that's gonna fucking, be in the back of my head for the rest of my life to remember that moment. Right.
Yeah. And it all comes out from the generations too. It's whatever the generation they have to come up. But again, I'm always torn by this, because when I'm on Instagram or when I see images, there might not be paintings or anything, but there's a lot of digital. There's memes, like all that is kind of like the art of today. Like those memes, those GIFs, whatever it is they put up. Those are the images that are going to exist 20, 30 years from now, that now with NFTs could be things that you may want to own. If you can get that original, whatever it was that you saw back in the day, I can't wait 10, 15 years from now when we start looking back at the images of today that we've seen on Instagram. They may become the things you either hang somewhere and say, I remember that. Oh my God, I remember that meme. That meme is old, but it's still around. I mean, it could be that. It's just, that's the beauty of visual art. It can pop up anywhere, and it's exciting to see what else can come up out of it.
What's the difference, like, or is there any difference of when you first started as an artist to now artists in present time?
I think, like I said, that there's listen, it's hard to say, because what I've been seeing right now is that whenever we wanted to do something, first of all, we couldn't really record it as much, we could only take either pictures or whatever it was, or just not have any documentation of it. I mean, today you can document every little thing, right? So I think that may be the only difference. But I do also notice that there are less risk takers today. The only risk takers that I've noticed exist are really street artists. Like,
Mhm.
I've met all these guys on the streets doing murals and stuff, and I mean, these guys are amazing. These guys are like the true artists that I grew up learning about, who who will climb over a wall, go out a particular time of night, spend the whole day and night, working in the street to put up an image, like, I don't know if anybody ever stops and think about that. It's like the most insane thing that you can think of. You go out into the street to put out an image that nobody really knows about, just to have it on a wall for people to see. And then you risk getting arrested,
Yeah.
you risk, the time of your life. Like, this time passes, but you're out there in the middle of the night putting stuff up. And it's just, to me, that's fucking amazing. It's an amazing drive, and it's an amazing inspiration to have to understand that these guys are doing that all night, sometimes all day. So, I mean, to be honest, it's really not much of a difference. Another thing I can say is that I don't see as much drive in people who are like not doing street art, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah.
I think people are depending a lot on the social media to be discovered now, whereas before, when there wasn't, you had to go out into the street, like
Basically do it. Yeah.
boots on the ground, knocking on doors, like going to a gallery. Can I get a show? Can you see my paintings? Where now you just put it on Instagram. It's easier, So that drive to just be at home in your studio and do your own thing, it just becomes a little more
easy.
back. Yeah, back. Yeah. And again, nothing wrong with that. It's just like that difference in you got to just hustle. Either way, you have to hustle and make sure you have a lot of it and put a lot of it out there.
Sorry, damn.
It's all right, man.
Like when you first started, right? And I can imagine you were like a teen, maybe in your 20s. Was there a particular artist or person that would inspire you? Like you would either watch what they were doing or listen to them. That's like, fuck, that inspires you. You want to, this is what I'm going to draw. This is the idea I have.
Yeah, see, with that, I have so many influences, and a lot of them were like, famous artists that I would just love. And to be honest, when I didn't really, when I was in high school, we used to have, I used to paint denim jackets. Like I used to paint all over the denim jackets. That was like my side job. Like I would do denim jackets and I would charge people $20 to $40 to paint the jackets. And I would have that going. I was hustling on that, and it was making me good cash in the high school.
Oh, so you've always been a hustler, and you've used your talents, your inspiration to actually make a living. That's beautiful.
Oh yeah, man. And so like in high school, I would go around like different bodegas, and I tell them, "Do you want me to paint your like sliding your metal doors?" And yeah, I would get jobs like that. They go, "Yeah, I'll give you $20," and I would do their whole front.
That's beautiful, man. That's
and then in the high school, I would just ask all the students who had Levi's, I'll paint your jacket for $20, $30. And I go, really? And I go, yeah. And I would do like whatever it is, if it was a rapper or a gang name. Like I remember I used to do these, there was this gang that they all had Lee jackets, and they had their collars painted in the back with their names. So what I did was I tagged all their collars.
Like some grease type of shit.
I guess it was grease type of shit, but they were all like, they were called the gents.
Wow.
So then they had the tag in the back, and they had a graffiti piece in the back of that. And, so I would make some money for that. But as far as having someone inspire me, it didn't happen until I got to like college. I went to college. I went to NJCU. Back then it was called Jersey City State College. And there I met some guys who shaped the rest of my life, because we started a big group, and we got great attention for that group. And in there, I met a teacher by the name of Ben Jones, who was the person who actually really pushed me and I looked up to in terms of what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be like, And that's when it really began, when I was in the art school at Jersey City State College. Because before that, I wasn't really educated in art. I was just kind of like, graffiti artists were my heroes, to be honest. It was like Dondi and all these old graffiti artists that I used to look up to. Those are the graffiti artists that I looked up to, and those are the people that I was looking to see how I should do things.
Did you get to meet them at one point?
Um, I met one of them, and God, I forget what year it was. It was a while back, and I went to New York in a show, and he was just walking around, and his name is slipping me. I can't believe it. But he was in the same gallery, and I saw him come in, and I was like, "Oh my God, I know this guy. I've seen him before." And I just went up to him, I talked to him, and it was like amazing. I mean, but it was a long time ago, and now I can't for the life of me think of his name. You got me down.
Because there's a lot of a lot of amazing art around Jersey City, especially that like there's probably people who never know who did that.
Right. Oh yeah, Jersey City. Forget about it. I mean, I think we are like the capital of New Jersey for art. I don't know another town that has as much art as we do, which is so beautiful. And I want to say I met almost every one of them, not every one of them, but I missed a good amount of all the artists that have pieces up in Jersey City on walls. I've been blessed for that too, because there's been so many guys that I look around and I said, this guy's a master, this guy's another master. Like these guys are just great. And I've had the privilege to meet all of them, most of them, and hung out with them. And I'm going with some of them down to Miami now. So it's really it's a fun time. It's a real fun time.
That's beautiful. Like, and you're in that industry, you don't have like a lot of like, let's say like in other sports, that like people are like too cocky and dicks,
Right.
In your industry, or they're like, are you like humble?
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Not only humble, these guys are like, the minute you meet them, they're like family.
Wow.
They are willing to provide you with concepts, ideas, suggestions, educating you and stuff. They share. When they see you, it's a hug and a clap. It's like that. I'm telling you, it's like a family out there. And all you have to do is go out and paint with them for a day or two, and then immediately you become. They have your number. You call each other up. Hey, listen, there's a piece here. Like your piece is on the side. You mind if I tag next to you? Yeah, no problem. Just move it to the side a little bit, whatever. And it's just like it's fantastic. It's like literally an underground family, because you know who the people are, but then when you talk to them, they're like just regular guys who are just having fun painting and making art.
That's beautiful.
It's really beautiful.
So you've been able to like collab in certain projects and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, every time I go to we're doing a wall or something. There's usually 2 or 3 guys there in the same spot, and then you collab by the. I guess it's like jazz, like if they're there, you start to work on a piece, and someone does something next to you, you kind of work around it.
Yeah.
Before you know it, the piece it's growing, and you know how each other work. It's fantastic, man.
That's beautiful, man. I definitely definitely love that camaraderie you're describing. Now do you like, how is it now? Like, do you get permission to like draw on a wall, or do you appear a certain place that you like and you start tagging it?
Listen, nowadays we are also all lucky. I mean, there's many different ways. You either got to go out there and do it, and then you also have. I'm fortunate to know Wymie. I don't know if you know who Wymie is. He's a big name in Jersey City in terms of street art, because this guy is kind of like producer. Like if you can think of what a producer does, he brings people together and creates something.
Yeah.
Well, he's the kind of guy that'll find walls, and whether by permission or by not, however he does it, and then he has all our numbers, and he'll just call everybody, guys, I have a wall on this street. Come and get it. And before you know it, there's like 5 or 6 of us there, and or 1 or 2, depending on when he calls. But he's the guy, and he runs this thing called JC 100 Murals.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever see a tag somewhere has a number 100 on it, that's him.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen those tags before.
So he's like the guy who's usually kind of like putting a lot of people together, and then of course you can, aside from that, go out and do your own wall and find your own spot and hit it up. There's different ways that things happen. But I got to shout him out because he's always hooking everybody up with walls all the time.
That's dope.
Without any effort whatsoever. He just calls us and we go.
That's dope. That's dope. That's beautiful. That's man. I really wish I haven't stopped drawing for so many years.
No, you do. You're onto something better for yourself.
Man, it's
Place.
beautiful.
You're in the place where you have to be. Come on.
No, thank you. It's beautiful because not like Jersey City, it's like it's uprising, right? There's so many developments. It's probably going to be the next mini New York. Yeah, and it's a lot of beautiful places with beautiful tags and it just it's a lot of great positivity, and that's what we need,
Yeah. Yeah, it's been Jersey City's come a long way. I don't know how long you lived there, but when I lived there, man, jeez, I just can't believe how downtown has developed and where it's come and all the buildings. Look, I mean, in a way, I'm a little sad, but that's progress,
Yeah,
It has to happen.
Yeah, I've lived here for I want to say 10 or 11 years already, but it wasn't until I met my wife, that I really started to experience and appreciate Jersey City for what it is, because I've always, I'm an island boy, so like I'm not really a fan of this cold,
Right.
And now that I've really broken out my shell and just that day that I tagged you, we went around donating food, and we got under this bridge which has like this huge mural of different artists, and I just started taking pictures and posted them, taking pictures, just actually really enjoying the rich that we have, and nobody knows, like hidden gems.
Right.
And I started sharing them, man, because it's amazing.
Right.
And if you don't look like, and it's something that like what I appreciate is like I wasn't looking for anything, but yeah, I stumbled upon this treasure chest of amazing art.
And that's I mean, you're in the right place for it. What bridge was that you talking about? What is
that?
Because I know on 14th, 13th Street, I think it is.
It's like I'm not sure if it's before or after that. You can, it's like a gap where you cut to like go to the mall.
Oh, okay.
Like I can't really remember the exact.
Because I know near 13th Street under the overpass of the tunnel.
Yeah, but it's like by like a hospital or something like that.
Okay.
Near that, a couple of blocks.
Yeah. Because I know that the one that we did when we did the mural projects, Jersey City had done that mural art program.
Mm-hmm.
They did a big event over the I want to say it was on July, and there's a whole bunch of murals there that if you can pass by, that's amazing. It's right on third between I want to say it's 9th to 10th Street. Is it 9th to 10th?
Yeah.
On Cole, between Cole and Monmouth. Great spot right there.
Yeah, I'm really,
with a lot of work too.
I was talking to my wife. I really think I want to like invest in a camera and just go crazy, just taking pictures, man. Just like, because like I said, there's so much. That's one thing I'm afraid of, right? We're living a digital era that everything's like it's digital, that we won't have anything that we can actually hold physically, right? Like my son, right? I have a fucking ton of pictures of him, and they're on my phone. If my phone crashes, that's it. It's not like back in the day that we had like a scrapbook,
right.
So like, there's so many amazing, talented artists out there, and you don't want that beautiful like genius to be lost,
right?
Not known about, right?
Right. Yeah, I don't know, man. To be honest, I don't know if that's ever gonna. I think now more than ever, with the cloud and the way things are being recorded and Instagram. I don't know. We're in a different world, man. That shit's never gonna go anywhere. It's in it for life.
I don't know, man, because
Unless we leave it.
yeah, I grew up in Puerto Rico, and when the light goes, the light goes. There's nothing. You can't access shit. So if it's a major blackout and these machines get burned, and we don't have no backup, shit.
That is fucked up. You know, that's how spoiled we are here. I'm thinking, no, I'm not gonna go anywhere. I'm acting all spoiled, and I forget that people in different countries don't even have this shit.
Yeah, man.
You gotta save it for them. I'm like, we're never gonna have a blackout. We're never gonna have anything. I'm like, I'm spoiled.
No, man. Everything. If if it's not physical, like I remember I was watching Netflix Daredevil, and they were investigating this case, and there was no paper trace because everything was digital, and they had to go all the way back to the vault and look for paper, actual physical proof. And like that just caught me thinking, like, that's where we live now. That you with a click of a button you can erase everything, right? And if it's a blackout and your drives all could get fried, all your content or everything you have created could go to shit, literally.
It is gone.
So that's
we're not prepared for that shit.
No, we're not. Shit, we weren't prepared for COVID.
No, we weren't prepared for COVID.
The fucking cabrón, that orange motherfucker. Shit.
Dude, that guy pissed everyone off, man. Fucking asshole.
Oh,
Jesus
man.
Christ. I can't stand that whole thing happened. It was such a nightmare. And then it so happened that we get COVID and then we get fucking Trump. Like, what the fuck? How do we get both at the same? Like, couldn't it be that? Like, it's amazing how
they couldn't be one without the other. Had to be
right. Like, couldn't we get COVID and then like a better guy as president, or get shitty Trump but not get COVID? Like that way we didn't have to worry about. But it's not both at the same time.
No, check this out. So we have COVID and we have Trump. We're stuck in our house, right? Because everybody have their news on. So we're stuck in our house in COVID, and then the only thing we're watching is this orange motherfucker who's just talking nonsense. Nonsense.
The fucking words, right? Everything he said, we were analyzing because we had time. Now we can analyze every fucking word. We can spread it. We can hate him, and like it couldn't be the worst thing to happen. But you know what?
It did.
We survived it. Unfortunately, I think it just riled up a part of the country that didn't need to be riled up, and I think that's the worst part of it. Yeah. When he was around, he riled these people up. Now we're in a different fucking world because of that.
It's just this fucking ad that keeps on coming on everywhere I go. It's like I think they did a show about him, and he said his presidential was unimpeachable.
Unreal. Unfucking real.
It's a joke, man. It's a joke. It's I don't know if it's dangerous or sad. I don't
both. I think it's both. It's
right?
Both. Yeah. That's it could be multiple things at the same time. It's sad, it's dangerous, it's fucking, depressing. There was a lot of things that we were going through, man. It's angering.
Yes.
And all those emotions are fantastic. They're part of life. What we can do is just let us take us over and overwhelm us and let it win. We got to be fucking strong and fight back. And
hell yeah,
You can't let it push you. You can't let it put you down, bro.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna happen to me. It happened again too. You never know. This may not be the first time.
No,
this is exposed to a whole different type of mentality that it can bring out more people like him. So
yeah,
it's a crazy fucking world, man.
Yeah, it's well, history always repeats itself.
Right.
If you look at through history, same thing, just different era.
Right.
The fucking ignorance is real.
Yep.
Like real. It goes to show you that money is more important than a lot of things.
Yeah.
You had that which I fell in love with, like you have a portrait on your IG is like it pays nothing to be kind.
Oh, right. It costs 0 cents. It costs zero.
Yeah,
Yeah, zero money to be kind. Right.
yeah, and like we had not we have a lot of fucking people expressing their feelings and emotion, but nobody actually empathizing with any of it.
Right.
And yeah, man, it just sucks.
I don't know where the fuck this is all going. And like I said, as long as we stay strong and we're fucking good and we stay in line, I think overall always the right thing comes out on top. I mean, history proves that too. Like
Yeah,
that. People overall know what good is.
yeah,
Bottom line, it may take a little longer. It may take longer to convince certain people or to change shit, but the good always comes out on top. That's why you just
yeah,
gotta stay fucking strong and not let it fucking beat you.
yeah. I
So,
just don't. I just don't know what, especially with being the president, the new one. Like I like him,
that motherfucker is a
but,
zombie. I don't know what the.
I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
every time he speaks, he's going through like a heart attack.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah, exactly. And we don't know how long he's gonna be around.
Yep.
Oh,
And
man.
so we're still stuck in an unforeseen situation here. I wanted to ask you, like, have you drawn comic books?
No, I've never really been a comic book artist. Like, I've dabbled with it, like I'll draw like I'll mimic
Yeah,
something. When I was younger in high school, I used to do a lot of little clips of Batman and the Hulk. I used to like those two characters. Obviously, different universes because
yeah,
Marvel and DC, but I would do those things, but I would never really did a comic book. I did Comic Con a few years. I did Comic Con for like 3 years in a row, where I went and I actually got a table and I sold at artists in Artis Alley. That was fun, but to do an actual comic book, yeah, not something I really could even wrap my head around. That's a really cool thing to be and do, but it requires a lot of fucking kind of planning and talent in a different way.
yeah. It's a lot. It's like like you have to draw it by scene.
Yeah, exactly. Scenes. See, the one thing people don't understand about comic books is that you just don't. You have to first have a story, and then each
Mm,
part of that story has to be illustrated, and then not just illustrated, but you got to capture the essence of what that particular, say, sentence or paragraph is. And then when
mm,
you capture that essence, you got to make sure you capture the right angle. So, it's
mm,
almost like you're directing a movie. Now you got to have the right camera angle. You
mm.
do from the bottom, from the top, from level. And that requires like really fucking, it's a great, beautiful talent to have.
Yeah,
And I admire, I
especially
have a whole bunch of comic books, so
yeah,
I admire it so much.
especially like if they give you a script and it's just saying like has a sentence, but it's not really giving you in detail.
Right.
So now you gotta like imagine what's going on in this sentence that has no feeling or description.
Right.
So
Without
yeah,
putting words, right.
so it's really a tedious job. Um, shit.
I wouldn't. I mean, I tried it a few times. It's not easy, man. And actually, as a matter of fact, I'm in the middle right now. There's a writer who's writing a story that I created out of a character that I created, and I gave him the gist of it all, and he's writing the script for it. And I've been debating whether I should illustrate it because I don't know if I can get into illustrating a graphic novel.
Mm,
But it would only make sense that I do it since it's my character.
mhm.
So I'm just right now, I'm struggling through that process of like, should I get into that and start illustrating the whole story, or should I like just pay somebody to go
Yeah,
ahead and do it? And it's a tough thing to
it's
do.
really it's really like it'll burn your brain because it's constant, breaking it down.
Right. Oh, sorry. Hold on a second. I was taking a picture of something I wanted to show. I was going to show that painting you were talking about uh,
Oh,
with the
zero sense of kindness.
yeah. I figured let's do a little show. Let me see if I captured it well enough.
Let me see if I can share my screen.
Oh, I see. You got rid of I can't host because it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me.
Yeah.
Uh, um, I'll check now.
Let's see. Yeah, it's telling me it's host has started. You started screen sharing, but I can't. When I hit screen sharing on my side, I think you have it disabled on yours to not allow me to screen
All
share.
right. All right, got it now.
Let me see. You cannot start screen sharing while the other participant. All right, so just stop sharing on your side.
There we go.
All right, there we go. Let's see.
Technical difficulties.
Oh yeah, nothing like technical difficulties. All right, can you see that? I don't know if you can see
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So that's
Wow,
the
that's
piece,
dope.
right?
Yeah,
That's
that's
the one that
dope.
you were talking about.
Yes,
All
yes,
right,
yes.
that's my stupid ass.
It
But
costs 0 cents.
yes, it costs 0 cents to be kind.
I love that, man. I love that one. It speaks so much truth and volumes.
Yeah, I wish I had invented that quote because I didn't. I saw that on someone, and I thought that that was such a great way to put how to be kind that you never think of it in monetary, uh, I guess, terms. You always think, oh, fuck that. I don't want to be, fuck him. He did something to me. And I'm like, bro, it costs you
Yeah,
really nothing to just be, say I'm sorry or say hi or smile at somebody. It costs you nothing. And if it's costing you something, then you got issues. Like, how much is it that is bothering you to be just nice to someone?
yeah, man. It's very true.
And here's some, I was just figure I scroll through, like, I don't know if you can see
The
my
Batman.
Instagram.
You
Yeah.
that's your original design, right? That the circle shaped
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah. I did this. I did this a while back as a joke. I wanted to. It's funny because I was looking through an artist that I kind of enjoyed, and she drew. It's a female artist. I don't even know her name. I was just kind of looking through her Etsy account, and I liked that she had very simple designs. And I said, I love the simplicity of the designs. And I come from a background where I did a lot of logos. I worked for a graphic design company designing logos for like Chase Manhattan Bank
Yeah,
and different corporations. And whenever I did the logos, I just felt the logos was such a graphic and slick way to promote yourself. It kind of buried itself in my brain. You see the swoosh for Nike, you see the 3 bars for Adidas, you see, and then the minute you see them, you know it's them. And
yeah.
that is such a powerful thing in the head. And so I said, I want to do something like that. Now I use Batman again because I'm a fan of Batman, and it started out with Batman. That's no lie. That's how it began. It's slowly evolving to something else now because I really want to make it more of my own. So I don't know, let me see. I think originally, let me see if I don't know if I have it here. Shit, it might be further down. But it started really just like a Batman image.
Yeah.
The fuck is it? Oh, here. So it started literally just kind of trying to duplicate Batman in a simple form that was just very graphic and just captured his grimace, the angry look of him. And then I also, of course, I had to put the bulge. The bulge was very important because I feel like all superheroes have that bulge. The bulge, the grin, and the angry face. And that's so I wanted to capture that in one simple kind of logo type thing. And to me, it wasn't gonna be like something that represented me. I was just like a little character that because I love Batman.
Yeah.
But as it went on, I just kept getting more and more excited with the image because it became more and more of like something that I love playing with. And like eventually, I started changing a little. See, this is the original design actually.
Wow.
That was the
That's
original
dope.
design, and then slowly started to merge into. Let's see. what I have on my shirt now, which is starting to look a little different. Let me see if I see. This was the one that I did at Berry Lane Park.
Wow, that's beautiful.
I don't know if you know what Berry Lane Park is. It's the skateboarding.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. They have all those big buildings there. And then slowly he starts merging to somebody that looks like this. And if you notice, I no longer am putting the Batman symbol on his belt. And
The
I'm putting
smiley
some
face.
messages. Smiling is contagious. I like to put messages once in a while. And then I did this guy again. It's the Batman colors, but it's now no longer the Batman symbol. I'm trying to move away from the Batman thing again because I don't know. I just want to create something a little more me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so slowly, and I'm emerging, and he's evolving out of that things. You're going to see more emerging out of it. It's not going to change a lot, but some things are going to be changing on him. This one I did after I don't know if you remember the banana being taped to the wall. There was a few years back. Some artists went to Art Basel, actually, where I'm going to be in Miami. 2 years ago, I think it was. Some artist went and he taped a banana to a wall and he called it art. And the fucking thing sold for $140,000.
Wow.
Anyway,
Oh, shit.
he was a conceptual artist. And then the funny thing is that another artist comes by, took the banana off the wall and ate it. And it's like, so the person who bought it was pissed, but the artist said, no, you don't buy the actual physical work. You're buying the concept of it. And that concept I have written down. So you're buying the piece of paper that says how to recreate that piece. So the actual piece is bullshit. You can eat the fucking banana, you can throw away the tape, but as long as you have the instructions on how to make it.
He just sold them a fucking blueprint.
Exactly. And the blueprint is worth $140,000. But here's the thing: that blueprint and those instructions cannot be reproduced by anyone else. And that's what makes it special and original. Which is, art is fucking crazy. It's hard to understand sometimes, but
it's what you give it meaning to.
Yeah, and so this guy, so I found it funny, and I took my Batman guy character and I put
that's funny.
Just to fucking goof on it.
Oh man.
And as you can see, he's starting to get a little different now. I put some hearts. His ears are starting to get a little more round. It still looks like Batman, but it's slowly emerging out into.
It's evolving.
He's evolving to something else slowly but surely.
Oh, that's beautiful, man.
I did this piece. I don't know if you go by that wall on. It's on 13th Street and Cole, between Monmouth and Cole, underneath the overpass. I did this on a wall. It doesn't move like this, but it's definitely it's just
it's beautiful. It's beautiful, man.
And then I'm doing a lot of the black and white stuff. I'm really into this stuff. And all I did was basically see, this is sort of like, again, how it's evolving. As you can see, it's black and white. And I threw that little troll face there just for shits and giggles.
Do they have any meaning behind it, or just you like just tapping into your organic artistic mind?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that, because sometimes it's funny. I hate explaining my work. I have fun with it, and that's it. But as you can see, there's like a lot of teeth. And at some point in my work, I used to do like, let me see. There used to be a lot of fucking teeth that I used to just put. Like you see this guy. This piece is called Adelanta la Raza. And as you could, again, I was doing the teeth. You got the baby, and Adelanta la Raza is a term that you hear a lot in Hispanic cultures when you want a black person to marry a white person so that they get lightened up their skin color for the baby they have.
Whoa.
So that way the skin gets lighter. I heard that in the Cuban community, they use that a lot, but I've heard it too. Dominicans have said it before. So this piece here, again, a little antagonistic, a little social commentary about, this is what Hispanics do. They mix race to make their skin lighter. Like, that's fucking important. I don't know. It's a weird concept that exists. So I created that. So you say, are there meaning in it? Well, as I was looking into just my culture, because as Dominicans, and I know Puerto Ricans too, we have Taino blood in us.
Yeah.
The Taino Indians were the
Yeah.
native Indians of our islands, right? And I was researching just to see, like, because my work is very geometric, and I use a lot of graphic in it, like lines and really weird kind of, I don't know, almost as if these things were statues type of things.
Mm-hmm.
They look like little statues, if you will. And I found this fucking thing that the Tainos did that freaked me out. And I said, what the fuck? Is this like I'm channeling them through? Because I'd never seen this before.
Yeah.
And like if you can see, like, this guy right here, it's just a T. This is Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
I did this is a painting of Deadpool that I did. The smoke is just effect that I put on it. And like the Hulk also, right? I did the teeth, if you can see the teeth on it. And it's all square painting. These are all square, very geometric. And but as I was looking for it, and you got the
Raphael.
with the teeth, fucking V for Vendetta with the all the teeth thing happening, right? Like, I was fascinated with teeth. I don't know what the fuck that's all about. The Batman gun, the teeth were out, right? This is just little characters that I was trying to work with. And then all of a sudden I went and let me see if while you're here, might as well do a fucking presentation of what I found.
Let's go. For the people who's watching, for the people who's listening to the podcast, go and watch the video version. He's giving us a background of his genius mind. It's beautiful.
It's funny how all this shit came out, because this is what was freaking me out. So I'm looking at the fucking Taino sculptures that came out. Yeah. And when I find this, look at this shit.
Wow.
This freaked me the fuck out, that they were also doing this kind of mouth open teeth thing. And there was one that I actually found that was literally with the teeth out. Let me see. I don't see it here, but it was incredible. Here.
Wow.
Like, bro, this is a Taino deity. And so I'm looking at my shit and I'm saying,
yeah, you see the similarities.
I just saw, yeah. So like you see this, right? And then you see that. And I'm like, wait a minute. This was nothing to do with me having researched this beforehand. This was just me being me and coming out with my own shit. And then saying, am I tapping into some sort of inner blood that exists in me, that it's fucking the Taino blood, right? Wow. So as I'm doing this, I'm finding more and more, and I don't know, that sun that the Tainos use, like the sun.
Yeah.
It's everywhere, right? I'm looking at this, and I find that also. Let me just see. And I find this, right? And as I'm looking at this, I'm like, bro, this is kind of freaky, because now I have that, and then I have shit like this where it's the same kind of symbolic circle with the mouth, and the teeth. And you say, does this have any meaning? What the meaning is, I don't know. But am I somehow pushing my Taino blood through the culture of America into it? And I started thinking about this, and I'm like, that's probably what it is. I live in America. These are American symbols, the Batman, all these figures that I'm doing that are kind of generic. Yeah, American pop icons. Yeah, but they're being interpreted through this kind of iconography that is.
Well, Batman, it's kind of Latino because he was inspired by El Zorro.
Right, and it's kind of like a big whip around of kind of concepts. Yeah, of how this shit works. It's like it's just so bizarre, man. Like, after I've done all this for me to discover more Taino art, so I got deeper into the Taino, looking at Taino work. And so a lot of this started to evolve out of that, like all these black and white, because it's kind of like very graphic. Mm-hmm. It's kind of just linear. They did a lot of linear things. They did a lot of symbols. And so to me, all these kind of symbols are just symbols with a little twist that is more.
So it was basically you just creating art. You never actually knew this other Taino stuff existed.
I never seen Taino artwork, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to ask you, because I grew up, in Puerto Rico, in the books I have these images, right? And I saw these smiles, and I'm glad you pointed that out. You're really tapping into something.
Yeah, and to me, I don't know. It feels good to know that what I was making wasn't just me, like, again, being all this original and trying to come up with something. but it's something that is very integral to my culture.
Yeah.
So it's, like if you just sit down and do your own shit and really tap into how you feel and how you want to do something, and then to have it be certified, if you will, or have it be justified, because when you look back, you know what, the blood that you have in you is kind of helping you kind of do something similar. You're making these circles,
Yeah.
this geometry, you're making this tribal looking things on, you're doing these lines, it comes from somewhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't just not come from anywhere. It didn't just come from nowhere. And that's really, really fulfilling. It's important. So yeah, I mean, again, you asked, does it mean anything? Do they have meaning? They do. In a weird way, this is the sensitivity of what my Dominican culture has to offer to American culture.
Yeah,
This is like,
you're like, without knowing, you're infusing your past into a present form, and
exactly
still making your heritage alive, but through
right.
your vision.
Exactly. Perfectly said, man. Because a lot of times we see artwork from other cultures,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll see a little bit come through. Like, so this is kind of like, shit. If this was a Taino living today, is this what he would he be making? Right.
Mm.
He's looking at his pop culture. He's looking at who's around, and he's just interpreting using kind of Taino language, which is that graphic design type, like those symbols that they use. That's why I also started doing this stuff. I did it. Let me see if I have it here. See, like in this one right here. If you notice the little belt,
Yeah.
that's a Taino symbol for a snail, which
Beautiful,
was
beautiful.
actually used in rituals, because I believe they used to either use the little horn of the thing to create sounds
Mm-hmm.
of the shell of the snail, and they would eat the snails. So it was kind of like, it's just everything is so integral to the culture. I love it. So yeah, to me, this whole thing has come around full circle, and I'm kind of enjoying that process right now. I've been incorporating it more, and it may not have a particular meaning, but it has a more cultural meaning. It has more cultural importance in terms of like, just showing what we have to offer as
Yeah,
a
and the Taino they have a beautiful culture and a rich history. It's like many other cultures as well.
yeah.
But I feel like, see, like, I that's one thing I wish I was, when growing up, I had a little bit more influence. I wasn't really influencing that shit. Like my dad is Dominican, right?
Oh, is he? Oh, so you're part Dominican.
Yeah, que lo que, like
Okay, what?
uh um
That's awesome.
but I didn't grow up with my dad. I didn't grow up with my mom.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I grew up with my grandparents. They're already,
Ah,
older, so like
I feel that you're not alone in that, man. That's a lot.
yeah.
That's a lot
Yep.
happening in our culture, man. A lot of people are raised by their grandparents.
Yep. And what I've, here and watching society, right? I feel like you move here to this land because, obviously better opportunities, blah, 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 for as long as you're paying, right? Because she ain't free.
Oh,
The more the generations are, continue to produce here, it's like we're losing our culture in a sense. We're losing our song. People become whiter and whiter. And you see Hispanic, they look Hispanic like our heritage, but you speak to them in Spanish and they don't understand a goddamn word you're saying.
nope,
So we're
nope.
like, our roots are slowly, I don't know, like being burned out. And we're America is like, I don't know, how American white people have
It's a,
no
it's
sazon
a
in their food.
zero sazon. Well, no, they're getting sazon. It's taking it from us. This culture is weird because the more they call it a melting pot, and I know it kind of is, because when you come here, you start to blend your own shit with somebody else's
Mm-hmm.
shit to create a new shit, and then you have all this kind of shit that is happening, and then all of a sudden you forget your old shit, you forget your own shit, and that's not good. We got to remember where we're coming from. And I don't know, if anybody will see my work and say, oh, that looks like this. They might not. But if you just dig a little deeper and you look and you see, there is a connection. And I think this is what happens here. I guess my work is kind of what happens in the US. There's a emergence of cultures. You know, you get, like I said, you have all these pop things that I have there, but then you have how I'm interpreting them. I'm putting a little bit of the tribal thing in it. So I don't know. You know, I don't know which way it's gonna go. I didn't ever mean to make like that. It just came out naturally. But now that I'm aware of it, I am making conscious effort to keep pushing it that way because I think it's important.
And educate the public as well, because
Absolutely.
there's a lot of Hispanic kids that need that, whether
Yeah.
you're Dominican, Puerto Rican, they need that heritage to come alive and be proud of something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
being one thing I've learned, living here the past 10, 11 years is like, you all you do is fucking work and work and work, and you forget about everything else,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and there's no life to be enjoyed.
Right. Which sucks. Which sucks because you go to our countries and you notice that people do take time to like they take time to enjoy life. I mean, I haven't been in the art in a while, but I know that there's times where there's a siesta. You
Yeah.
know, there's that time when you go to work and then in the afternoon you go home and then you take a nap, eat, and then go back to work for a few more hours. There's like
Mm-hmm.
that break.
Mm-hmm.
That's critical. I mean, that's what makes you enjoy. You know what? I'm going home to eat for 3 hours sleep and then go back to work.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't do that
and
shit. This is just
and this runs
space.
24. This runs 24/7. Like in Puerto Rico, like
Right.
Friday hits 5 o'clock, everything is closed. Vamos a beber.
Yep.
Let's go. Like there's no need to like become an entrepreneur and build an empire when like working a 9 to 5 is good, because when you come out and it's Friday, you're gonna release that stress and you're gonna go have fun. You're gonna go to the beach, you're gonna go do something,
Yep.
productive. Here's not like that.
Oh,
Fucking it's fucking a hellhole. That's what it is.
drink for a few hours on your phone, checking to see if there's more business coming in. It's like, God damn,
Yeah.
gotta take it easy.
Yeah. Here
Take
it's
it easy.
here's not like that, man. And
No.
that's one thing I miss about like I miss one thing I take for granted now, right? Because I really, when you're young, you tend to be stupid and not be able to appreciate what you have. Like over there growing up in Puerto Rico, the days were longer and you could actually enjoy your fucking day.
Yeah.
Here it's totally opposite, man. Like it feels like it's never any hours in the day that you could do anything.
Right. It sucks, man. Time goes by. We got to slow it down, kind of enjoy life again. And you know what? I got a feeling because of this pandemic, I think things are maybe turning around for the better. It's weird. It's strange, but I think people are starting to realize what's more important. Like the fact that a lot of people have quit their jobs and they said, I don't want to do this shit all my life. I want to go really do what I want to do.
Dude, I was
I think it's
making
good.
65,000 a year at a corporation, a suit and tie. And I said,
There,
fuck
look at
that
that.
job.
There we go.
you
There we
know?
go.
And I started this podcast. I started my own t-shirt printing business. My wife's
Yo,
a realtor.
big up. That's the way to do it, man. Congrats.
It's winter gets slow, but keep hustling.
Hustle, bro. Hustle through
And
the. Listen, make bottom line. You got to be happy. You got to be happy. It's such an understatement. And one time, I used to work for this guy, and I remember the first time I walked in. This is when I worked in that graphic design company. I remember he was my manager, and I was under him. And I went in, and we worked for a couple of years together. And after the 2 years, that motherfucker came in one time. He tells me, I'm done. I'm like, what? What do you mean you're done? Like he had given no idea that he didn't like the job or anything. He just came in on a Monday. He says, yo, I am done. I go, what do you mean you're done? He goes, I quit. I go, what? I go, but who's going to be the, he goes, yo, I'm telling them today that I'm leaving. So you're going to be the boss. I go, what? So this was on a day, this shit just happened. I came in on a Monday just to work and for just to be his underling, like I've been for the past 2 years. And he tells me, and he tells before he leaves, I go, Ray, I'm going to tell you one thing. This is what struck me. When you get up in the morning out of bed and you don't want to go to work, that's the day you got to quit. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, if you get up in the morning and you get fucking look at the clock and you say, I don't want to fucking go to work, that means you shouldn't be going to that job. And that's what happened to me this morning. This motherfucker had ginormous balls for him to do this shit. Like for him to say, and he took off. He bought a flight, went to Georgia, opened up his own fucking cleaning business. And he sends me a picture 3 years later, bought his own house. He has 10 employees in it. Like his whole plan was just to move to Georgia because it was cheaper down there. He was just going to find a regular job. But when he got there, he told me he met a guy. The guy had a business. And he says, I'm going to do this shit too. And he went like fucking no parachute.
I remember. Shit, I remember I used to work at a Verizon in Basket Ridge, which is like the Verizon that runs the world.
I worked at Basket Ridge too, man.
Yeah.
I worked for Prudential. They were off of exit, I think 31 of 78.
Shit, I worked there, man, and I had a union meeting, right? And the union representative said something like, she said, "Los trabajos vienen y van, pero los hijos no," because she had lost her son. So damn. She was like, jobs will come and go, but our kids, they don't, and I have my son, he's autistic, and that's the only son I'm ever gonna have in my life. I don't think I want more kids. And after that, he's 5. He just turned 5 last week.
God bless, man. What's his name?
Austin.
Nice.
Austin. And after that meeting, I went to another meeting. Now I'm meeting with the vice president of the company I work with, and this old man was just rambling on, and he asked me this question, and I dare you tell him, what do you want? Stop wasting your time. Stop wasting my time, and tell me what you want. And him and the other two were so shocked, and he was like, he's still like he didn't know what to say. And I was like, I was like, I'm out. Thank you for the opportunity. I do appreciate it. It's a good. I said something's good. It's good. It looks good on my resume. I said, and I'm out.
And you just left.
And I left, and I bounced. A year later, I went back to work because sometimes you need to fund your business, and there's right. So like I've never had a problem doing that.
Well, I mean, that's all it takes. It takes that initial. Even if you go back, doesn't matter, but it takes that initial step to say, I can do this. So fuck you out. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And
so it's not easy, but it's got to happen.
Yeah. Especially when you got fucking a wife and a kid and, fucking mortgage and bills, so like, I've never, I feel like I never have a problem working a 9 to 5 for as long as I have a goal in mind. That's helping me. Right. Never been a problem. So yeah, man, I walked out. I'm out. Peace. Left my IDs.
Listen, in the same line of talking right now, there was when I worked in Baskin Ridge I worked for Prudential insurance company. I've had so many fucking jobs, but at the time,
you both.
At the time, I remember I had that job and I thought I was going to be there forever. I was like, this is my gig. I fucking love it. I'm making lots of money. I'm good. It's funding my art because I was still doing art on the side. So I was like, I do go home and I do my artwork, but this shit is paying the bills. And
You're happy. You're happy.
Right. Yeah, I was happy. And I remember there was a meeting one time and they gave all the employees, they tell, all right, guys, we're here to, talk to you about a special, I guess it was a concept that they were trying to teach everybody. And the concept here is that there is change and you have to embrace change. And at the time, I'm like, what is this motherfucker talking about? And he goes, you may not be here for longer than 2 or 3 years. And already my shit came crashing down. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm going to be here until I die. I love this place. But what he introduced us to was the fact that he said, you guys are going to have 7 to 8 jobs during your lifetime. And you may not believe this, but you will have 7 to 8 jobs. This company may not be around for a long time. You may get tired and you move on to another job and so forth. And I at the time didn't really understand what he was saying. And then he goes on to say, change is good and you must embrace change. And when change doesn't happen, you need to be the change and you need to cause change. And that shit affected me since. because to me, there was a book too that they gave out during that time. They gave everybody a book, and it's called I think it's called Follow the Cheese, or it's basically a small book, and it talked about a mouse looking through a maze looking for the cheese. Because you don't want to be that mouse just chasing that money. You want to be able to come out of that maze and
Yes.
change your path and create a new path. And when this guy talked to me about that whole thing about change, my whole perception of everything changed, because everywhere I went, I was like, look at everybody wanting to settle in, like you know, like a lot of older people used to do, where they would just sit at a job and be there for 50 years and leave, which was my mentality going in. And he's saying, don't get used to the mentality. The future's moving fast, technology moves fast, and you got to move as fast with it.
Yes.
And so wherever you are, try to stop and say, I don't want to keep going here. I want to make a change for the better, and I'm out. And don't marry anything. Don't marry an idea. Don't marry a job. Don't get married to it. Marry to like a core value that you have, and then change everything else outside of it. And bro, ever since then, that's been my thing. You know, I've gone to different jobs when I got tired of it, or when things started to, I feel going downhill. I'm saying, I'm getting out of here before the shit crashes, and I would leave with no calm. I didn't give a fuck. I just went. You know, I opened a business one time. Now I'm teaching art. So like, I just keep moving around, and you keep following, not the cheese, but you keep following that core value that you have of what you want to do and how happy you want to be. So really, you got to chase the happiness, and you got to be willing to change for it. And if it's not changing, change it. You got to change it fast. But change is fantastic, because we're evolving always.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
changing. If you don't embrace that change, you're gonna get stuck into something. You're gonna be crying, depressed. You got to change. You got to go with that wave of change all the time.
Yeah, and a lot of people are scared of it too.
Yeah, completely.
They still dwelling over that shit, and you know, sometimes you got to roll the dice.
Yep.
And fucking
Nice.
and at least that's what I did, you know. And
now, could you get here from PR on your own, or did your grandparents come here first? Or
no, like I said, I was born here. I was
you lived in Puerto Rico though.
Yeah, I was born here, and when I was little, I was sent over there. My mom sent me off to live. You know how Latino parents, you know, they can't control a child; they quickly become the problematic. So, I was a devil child. You know, and it was really tough for me over there, but you know, I'd rather grow up over there than, you know, staying here. And yeah, man. And I had a problem over there. I came here, you know, I never really had a good relationship with my mom. Like my third week, she kicked me out. I started living in my grandma's basement, where fucking you know, you know, a lot of people talk shit about my grandma, but like, she gave me a place to stay.
Bro,
it wasn't sanitary.
That's big.
It wasn't.
You weren't in the streets.
Yeah, she made me understand the message, and the message was like, yeah, I love you. I love you. Believe it or not, here's a place to stay, but I'm going to make it very uncomfortable for you, because you know, you need to get your shit together and go the fuck up, right?
Yo, that's what made you.
Yeah, and you know, after that, I moved out. I rented a room. You know, I've enjoyed my single life,
right?
And until, you know, I met my wife.
Bro, see, but you're living, whether you knew it or not, that life of change. That shit was happening to you, whether you liked it or not. And
yeah,
that concept of change is it's freaky, because you've been living it.
Yeah, it was scary, because like growing up in Puerto Rico, like everything was physical. I feel like everything was physical. Like, you know, I go over there and people respect me. It's because I gave myself respect, and I wanted respect in return. But when I moved here, everything's like it's a mental game. People try to belittle you and push you down mentally. and like that's why so many like suicidal shit,
Right.
like a lot of bullying, and I was bullied until I became the fucking bully.
Oh, yeah.
You live what's that saying? You live long enough, you become the villain.
Yep.
And I was, I was gonna accept that role because it becomes either you or me, motherfuckers, you than me, right?
That's right.
And here it's very mental, things that I wouldn't dwell on, decision making, changing jobs, blah blah blah. Sleeping in the street like I slept a couple of times because I had no place to go. It was easy for me.
Right. 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 Right.
But it's everything. It's mental. Everything's mental, and I learned that once I got married. Like a lot of people, it's a lot of feelings and all this shit, and I've learned that I'm a very raw person. I'm a very real person. I tell you shit how it is rather than what you like to hear, right?
That's perfect.
Uh,
No, that's the way to
and
be.
yeah, and it's good. It's good because I know that if I'm alone, it's because I pushed away the wrong people.
Mm,
But it's also like I'm either I'm either hot or cold. I have no middle ground.
right.
And now that I have my son, I have to try to be a little bit more understanding. Especially because he's autistic, and I'm willing to do that work. I'm not willing to do other people work,
Right.
and everything's all sent feelings, and
Right.
sometimes you can't let feelings control the decision makers of your life,
Right.
because if some days I don't want to get out of the fucking bed, but if I let that feeling conquer me, then I'll never fucking do anything in my life.
Right. Right. Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely. 100.
So it's it took me a while to grasp that concept, and now that I'm married, it's something I realize I need to work on, because these people are fucking savages. They'll put you down, and once your mind is destroyed, that's it for you.
Right. And
That's it. There's no hope.
they don't
And
give a fuck.
yep, and that's something I've been working a lot. I'm working a lot.
Listen, you have done the biggest step is acknowledging that. Once the fact that you've acknowledged that, if you had not acknowledged that you're going through that and you got to do that, you'd be in deep shit. But the fact that you have reflected and said, I'm working on that and I need to work on that, that's huge. It's a huge step,
Thank you. Thank you.
and you'll get it done, man. With your son, your kids are huge motivators, man. Because my kids, they've centered me. I was the
Yeah.
same way. What you're saying was, I was the same way. I was 0 to 100 because I came in the streets, where you get pushed, where you get talked about, you get trash talking, you get fucking
Yeah.
bullied,
Yes.
and you got to put up defense mechanisms, right?
Yeah.
And that defense mechanism, now you're aware every fucking time, everywhere you go, you're like conscious. And somebody, are you
Mhm.
coming at me, bro? What are you doing? Are you saying something? What was that you said? And you start to get like that with everybody. And
Yeah.
but with the kids, once I had my kids too, I was the same way. Like I couldn't be like that with them. They didn't understand what I like. Even if they talk back to me, I couldn't be like, "What the fuck? Did you just say that to me?"
Yeah.
I
Yes.
didn't want to project. I
Exactly.
didn't want to project that attitude towards them. I
Yeah.
didn't want to make them that.
Yeah.
So I had to lower that 100 that I used to get to, and I used to scream a lot, and I used to get angry a lot, and so and slowly, because of my wife and my kids, I said, "Shit, what the fuck am I doing? I don't want to ruin my kids.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
because I'm fucked up doesn't mean they got to be
Yeah.
fucked up." So I
That.
started lowering and finding a middle ground where I was a little more compassionate, a little more understanding with them.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
start to develop different attitudes for different people, and you really start to grow.
Yes. Yeah. And
But you acknowledging it, which is the great thing. Some
yeah.
people don't ever acknowledge it. They treat their family like shit, and
Yeah.
then they
Yes.
wonder, why is my family so fucking broken?
Yeah. And I look at my son as like fucking look at myself in the mirror.
Oof.
And I have this picture that for years I've always avoided looking at as me when I was a child. And and now I sleep with it on my mirror, and I started talking to him,
Oof.
you know, and I was like, I've let you down, but we have a little guy now.
Right.
He's special just like us, and it's not easy, and we're working on it.
That's
We're
tough.
working on it, and I have to do that. I have to, because there's a lot of broken shit around us,
Of course. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and
It's a lot of broken shit around a lot of people
yep,
who don't want to admit this broken shit. The
hmm
fact that you got to admit it.
facts,
Yeah,
yep,
you got to admit it.
and you have a choice.
Right.
Everybody has a choice, and that choice, it starts with that choice. Do you want to accept it? Do you want to acknowledge that choice?
Yep.
And there's been a lot of lonely nights, just me.
Right.
It's me. And the shit you gotta accept, and you have a choice. And once you accept that and acknowledge it, everything else could be easy. And 32, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm
100%.
at. And
You're at the perfect timing to be doing this shit. You got to
yep.
acknowledge your space and time. There's a saying that I love that someone told me, was that you got to remember that you got to pretend that you're 80 years old, right? And think that you're 80 or 90. And then that you woke up in this body and realize that you're only 32. You know what I mean? So like, think of what it could be if you were 80, where people would be if they passed, if they were gone, you can't fucking move, and live it and think of it, of how it would be when you would be 80, right? And then say to yourself, wait a minute. And then imagine that you're just waking up in this body. Like you had a dream as you were an 80-year-old, you fell asleep, and then you woke up and you're 32. How would you do it now? How would you do that differently? How would you live the next 50 years? And you're at a stage right now where it's, you got a lot of time to like make beautiful things for your boy, for yourself, for your family, to change it in the right, control that path, right? Gear that path. I don't know which way it was going if you don't do that, but now you're fucking strongly, willfully guiding it in the way that it should go.
Yes.
For the benefit you got. And this is I mean, that whole thing you're doing with that picture is fantastic. Talking to yourself like that, that's great.
Yeah, it's
Meditative.
it was something that it's something that's, you get older, and you find growth, right? That, like, I've always had that picture. I never looked at it, and it always made me feel uncomfortable, because it reminded me of some form of vulnerability when I was a child, and the traumatic upbringing I was surrounded of, you know,
Damn.
and then I learned from this author I had on the podcast. His name is Elman Woodson. Yeah, he told me that in order for you to grow as a person, sometimes you got to be vulnerable. So
100%.
and ever since I fucking did, I heard those words, and I look at that picture, and it reminds me of everything all the traumas and shit.
That's crazy.
I went, and I need to accept that shit. I've been so many years ignoring it, and just at a point it's just
Can't
coming
put a
out.
lid on it.
Yeah.
You can't
And
cover that shit up, because you're making it worse for anybody who's coming at you,
yeah,
especially the people you love.
yeah. And I came to a realization that I've become everything that I hated.
Oh, that sucks.
And now, man.
Yeah, but you're changing it though. See, that's the beauty of it, that you're seeing that I don't want to be that, right?
And yeah, man. Every night I look at that picture, and just one step at a time.
When did you find out that your son was autistic?
Oh man, that was a fucking. Well, he.
No, it's not. Is it a mild autism? Is it
It's
Asperger's?
no, it's not that severe. Like I have a nephew that's you just by looking at him, God, bless his soul. You're just looking at him, he has autism.
Oh, right.
My son, he's like on right there on the spectrum.
Okay.
So right now, the most he's nonverbal.
Okay.
He doesn't talk, but he's smart as shit.
Well,
He's very smart, right?
I know.
That his fucking New Jersey healthcare is the government healthcare is the piece of shit, bro. We started noticing like when he was out, he was different at 2. But mom more than me because I was always working and whatnot. And it's something for me, it was like something he'll snap out. He's still little, blah, blah, blah. But then, he turned 3 and things we saw him delayed. We reached out for help. It was a whole fucking waiting list.
Fuck.
And we waited like for 6-7 months. Then the pandemic hit. We waited a fucking year. We came to officially diagnose him this last February.
Wow.
And this is us doing everything we can. This is us fucking, moving mountains.
Did he start school yet? Is he in pre-K or?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
We have him in programs, occupation therapy, speech. We had somebody coming at the house to help him, but then the healthcare professionals are so short now, like very short, and so right now we're back at 0. We're waiting on options. We can put him in school pre-K. Our fear is that he's not verbal.
Right.
And people may think I'm ignorant, but like I don't trust nobody with my fucking kids, man.
Hell no, man. I don't blame you, bro.
And me and my wife,
the love that you're giving him, you and your wife are giving him. Are you kidding me?
Me and my wife on the same page, and like I can't. My son doesn't speak. I can't fucking live with anybody. If something happens, how he's gonna? I'm gonna listen to him. I'm not gonna listen to the other person.
Right. I'm gonna freak out too, man. That's crazy.
So it's been it's been a journey, but and we put everything in God's hands, and everything's gonna turn out well.
Funny, I have a friend who was here, and his kid had severe physical problems. He was born with like a physical disability. It was terrible. He couldn't walk. He couldn't stand up straight because his spine was off, and the doctor said that he would only live 2 or 3 years because of this disease that he had. And my friend said, he started to look around America to see how they can help him, and he said New Jersey sucks. But then he realized the entire United States it's not really great or good at all to help people who are really sick, like his son was. So he took off to Spain, where medical attention is amazing. I'm talking about the kid got a free wheelchair. He got a nurse sent to his home, all paid for by the system. Like over there, healthcare is supplied to you. It's just given to you. So once you're a citizen and you become a citizen, you get free healthcare. And not just free, it's fucking top of the line. You get top of the line shit everywhere. He moved over there. His son lived 22 years. More beyond that. With great care. Like I'm talking about nurses coming to his house. They talk about they provided this beautiful wheelchair for him that otherwise here would have cost $30,000-$40,000 to make here. Over there was like, let's make it to order. What else does he need in it? Does he need the handle here? Like they adjusted everything for him. And he said it was a difference. It was a difference that it made because, what you're just saying right now, that the medical system here to help out people, it's just, they make you work so hard for so little. Like what you have to go through just to get fucking help from your kid. Like, why is it taking so long? Yeah. And you're not the only one, there's millions of people through the struggle.
Yeah. And I remember I had one therapist coming to the house And after 3 weeks, I think, like, I'm my son's advocate. My wife does the appointment. I do all the have to, everything else. And I noticed that, like, she wasn't doing shit for my son. My son was, he's 4. He was 4 years old, taking advantage of this woman.
Wow.
And I called up the therapist, like, she's not working out. And I get, and I get that she needs a job. I get it 100%. I don't want nobody losing their job, but I can't depend on her not losing their job, and put my son's future in jeopardy because I'm trying to be nice. I need somebody that's going to actually come and help him.
Yeah, you got to be the asshole now. You got to be the
Yeah.
asshole because your son, like you said, you're the advocate, and the advocate, you got to be like a fucking bulldog. You got to get your shit for him. You got, if not, no one's gonna give a shit about anybody else. They just taking care of business. They want to make more money.
Yeah,
and that's what shit for your kid.
And that's what everybody wants to buy. Everybody wants to make fucking money,
Right.
And that's fine. I'm for it. I want to make money too. Fuck it.
Right.
And nobody's willing to fucking do the work.
Right.
Everybody wants to walk in and get a certain paid amount of money. Right. Nobody wants to fucking do the work. Like, how do you expect that shit's gonna be?
Right. And be focused on that work. Because some of them want to come in and do the work. They may do it, but since they don't really give a fuck, they not do it right. So now you got to be fucking vigilant. Like, yo, what are you doing? Why you do that way?
And that same scenario, I feel like I was taking care of my son, and I was also trying to teach this woman how to understand my son when she's the professional. And that's just stressed me out. Because, first of all, I don't like people in my house, right? Right. You're
an intruder. Now I gotta be vigilant for multiple things.
Yeah, like I'm a person, I like my space. I'm very private, and this person is walking in here, and it was getting frustrated. It was stressing me out.
Right.
It was stressing me out because in 3 weeks I saw no progress. And if you're a parent to an autistic child, you don't get no sleep. It's a tantrum or really extreme. It's a tedious, it's tiring, it's very stressful, and all you do is trying to keep pushing forward and be calm. Right.
Yep.
And when I had that person in, don't get me wrong, she was a very nice young lady, but I don't need that. I need shit to work.
Right.
Right. And we're still here. And and sure, I've taught myself slowly how to sign language and shit like that, and just to teach him and different activities, because I'm not gonna let my son fail.
Right.
If he grows up and he comes out of the States and he's 18 or 20, he chooses to do whatever the fuck he wants in his life, that's fine. That's on him. That's not on me. But for now, you got me, and you're not gonna lose.
Right. It's exactly how it's gonna be, bro. It's gotta be that way.
And that's it. And
gotta be that way, bro. It's I commend you for what you're doing. It's like, it's the hardest thing that one can do. I mean, it's already hard to deal with a kid and a child, just to bring them up and then to make sure that he gets treated properly by other people. It's just because of what he may have. Oof. Bro, you guys are amazing how strong you're being, and I'm sure your wife too. So
man,
I bless you both, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
I mean, that's what you got to do. Just be strong.
Yeah, but brother, it's been an honor talking to you.
Oh, fantastic, man. I appreciate you inviting me here.
It's an honor,
conversation, man. We touched on a lot of stuff, and I hope you have great success, which I think you are, man. You look like you're heading on the right path. So I can't wait to see you at the top.
From your mouth to God's ears.
It's there.
Before we leave, tell the people where they can find you at.
You can go to rayarcadio.com, do Ray Arcadio on Instagram. And then if you go to rayarcadio.com, you'll see all my links there to the social medias and all that stuff, and hit me up. And you'll see all the stuff that's coming up soon. And if you can see me in Miami and you're in Miami and you can go to Miami, come to Miami December 3rd through the 5th. It's going to be a crazy party and show with all people from Jersey City and around the country. Actually, a lot of artists are going to be there. We're going to be doing a great event down there. Party DJs, a yacht. It's going to be a lot of crazy shit. Wall art everywhere, food. Street. I mean, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. I'm heading down there soon, so I'll be. If you go down there, look me up.
There you go. Boom. Once again, thank you. It's been an honor.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. It's great talking to you.
Okay, likewise. We'll meet
Have
someday.
a good night, guys.